Recorded Books and RB Digital present The Lesser Devil, a Sun-Eater story, by Christopher Ruocchio. Narrated by Samuel Ruocchio. Chapter 1. Sabine. Before the first rains fell on Delos with the comets and drowned the low country, the mountain had stood for 5 billion years. Though the seas filled in at man's command and drowned the dry lands, still it stood above the waters, a heap of white stone towering 1,000 feet above the village, whose buildings hewed like limpets to its foot. And as the years marched on, and the centuries swam, that village became a town, and a city afterwards. And by imperial decree upon the crown of that mountain was set the cornerstone and 13 towers of Devil's Rest. Relic of a nobler time was she, formed and fronted of black stone quarried from the volcanic south, her high towers stretching up like pieces of dark space, longing to return to the night. The great wall which ringed the Acropolis and the greater wall which held back the sea below were defiant challenges to the forces of nature, a reminder that here at least in all the cosmos, man reigned supreme. It was a place of deep shadows, of black-leafed hedges and topiary sculptures growing in the silver sun. A place of pointed archways and soaring buttresses, of ancient gargoyles snarling at the sky, and of whispering courtiers, forever mindful of the palace and its watchful eyes. Cold as it was, Crispin had grown to love it, in its way. The young Lord Marlowe hurried along the garden path, beneath the fingering shadows of pencil cypresses hundreds of years old. Ignoring the salutes of the peltasts positioned on the stair, he took the steps 2 at a time, hurrying under the cover of a colonnade that ran above the gardens toward the black mass of the great keep. He was late. "Master Crispin," came a voice from down the hall as he waited for a lift in the mosaic-tiled lobby. "Why the hurry?" The young lord turned and, still catching his breath, found himself face to face with a round-faced old man in sky-dark robes. "Father Abiathar, good morning." The elderly chanter bobbed his head in a slight bow. "Nearly afternoon." That was just the problem. "Aren't you leaving for Artemia today, or was that tomorrow?" "It's today," Crispin answered, checking his terminal. "That storm's coming in faster than expected, so they're moving our flight forward. Where's Sabine?" The old man smoothed his cassock down over his expansive belly, almost as if he were looking for something he'd lost in some pocket or fold. "I'm not rightly sure, young master. We cancelled her lessons this morning to give her time to prepare, but had I to guess, I'd say she's in her chambers." The lift door chimed politely then, its clear tone a better response than anything Crispin might have said. He ducked inside, bowling past the 2 grey-clad logothetes who'd been about to exit. He gave the old chanter a nod and tapped the lift button repeatedly, as if that might hasten the closing of the doors. Despite his haste, he stopped a moment in the hall outside Sabine's chambers. He hated visiting the old rooms, his old rooms. He didn't knock, only barged in, not attending to the pale tiles or the plastered ceiling inlaid with jewelled and brass-lined constellations. Even after 30 years, he could still feel Hadrian in the old place, his brother who was gone, fled to the edge of known space. Maybe even kidnapped. No one really knew. No one had heard from Hadrian in over 30 standard years. Crispin hoped he was all right. "Sabine," he called. "Sabine, where are you? We need to leave in an hour." Her voice floated back from the washroom. "An hour? I thought we were leaving after lunch." "That storm's coming in faster than the weather service predicted. Father wants us on our way before it makes landfall." They could have taken off in the midst of a hurricane if they'd wanted to, but Lord Alistair Marlowe was not the sort to risk his 2 children when it wasn't necessary. Crispin stood anxiously in the doorway, eyes taking...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.